Welcome to another Leslie Davis Earth Protector show, and we're lucky to have with us my good buddy Kelvin Burns.
How you doing?
Kelvin, how you doing?
All right, and you?
Okay. We're going to do, this is probably our 10th show or something together, huh?
Actually, I think it's a little bit more than 10.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I invited Kelvin to talk about a number of issues. He has some expertise in the African American, black, colored people situation, and I'm interested in that. I want to know if they're ever going to get reparations or what the discussion is. And what do you think going to happen with that?
Well, we could get reparations if we get rid of some of these black sellout politicians. We probably could get it.
So you got to have politicians in there. So who they going to give them to? Who they going to give the reparations to?
Well, first,
Anybody that's a person of color?
well, black Americans, so-called black Americans, so-called African Americans, because we're not African Americans actually.
Or part. Some are part, half, or whatever.
Well, that thing about like Ancestry.com, that's garbage.
What is that?
Ancestry.com.
Ancestors.
Ancestry.com.
Okay.
That's some garbage. They like to say that we all came from West Africa. And my question is, if that was the case, when some of the so-called Africans call themselves going back to Africa, why did they have to buy Liberia?
Uh-huh.
And everybody that's from America is not from Africa. You had blacks already here. You had blacks even came in from Morocco, which Moors. We from different places. Everybody black is not from Africa. You had black people that was already here. You had native black people that was already here. And a lot of these black Americans are natives, and they put them under African.
Okay, so we're not going to get that settled in our lifetime. I mean, that's going to go on and on. I think that we need to talk about issues that are closer in. I don't think there's going to be anything we can do about that, especially with this new administration coming in. Some pretty tough folks.
Well, you have people that's misnaming people. All of us, like I said, some of us are Native Americans. An ideal Native American is not like those Native Americans you see today. They look black just like me. You got black natives of this land.
Yeah. Too complicated
No, it's not. It's not. They know. They know.
to work out.
Through DNA and everything they know. It's just they mixed us in. All of us are not from Africa. It's only 8% of them got off the ships. And we discussed that before.
All right. Well, my issue, I registered last week to run for governor.
Okay.
I put it in, and I'm starting the Earth Protector Party.
Okay.
I dropped out of the DFL because they were so mean to me, and I wrote them a note. I didn't even have the courtesy to answer the note. So we're going to talk about his money if I become governor. We're going to got that pot. Remember, the one time, I think a few weeks ago when we did a show, it was at about $70 billion in that State Board of Investment.
Right.
And I checked the other day, $81 billion. $81 billion, and that money is set aside for retirees of the state, whether they're state patrol or legislators or ex-governors, whoever's entitled to a pension or some money, but they don't need $81 billion. That's way more than they need. And the people that do that study, they're called actuaries. And they do an actuarial study and say, okay, say you're working for the state and you're going to retire. How much money do we need to set aside now if you're 30, 40 years old and you're going to retire at 60 and you're going to live to 80? How do we know how much money to put away? So they got these noodles that figure out how much, and that's what they want to set aside, but they don't need the $81 billion.
No.
So one of my issues of running for governor is to give back $3,000 to every Minnesotan over the age of 18 or 18 and over.
Okay.
So that'll be about 4 million people by the time the election comes around.
Right.
So if we want to get a fair shot at the money, and the people don't, all this wealth that's going out there, the people are not getting a shot at it. They get no chance.
Well, they bring in too many people and from other places and taking care of people from other places instead of taking care of the American citizens.
Well, they have the money. They're talking about, they've got these hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars, and they're deciding what to do with it. Build the roads or put it away or give it back to the taxpayer or stuff like that. I think they need to give it back to everybody equally. Everybody, every adult gets $3,000 under my plan. So as governor, I made up this little logo. What do you think of that?
The money plan, I like that, it's smooth.
The money plan, Davis. Davis for governor means money in your pocket. Of course, you have to have permission from the legislature to do that because they got to change some laws around.
Right.
Governor can't just do it on his own.
But how much money did you say was in the pot?
81 billion.
Now, we got $81 billion, but we have people laying under bridges on Lake Street.
That's a shame. It's shameful what's
And
going on.
we need, Minnesota's too cold for a person to be sleeping outside.
And for a lot of people that don't have a decent place to live, the inside is almost just as cold as being outside.
Right.
But Davis for governor, let me see if I hold up my big sign. People can see that. Davis, what's under Davis? Governor.
Okay.
There are going to be about 20 people running for governor. They're going to be in the Democratic Party, the Republican, the Independents, the Constitution, the Greens. Now the marijuana people got a party. All of us going to be running. So when you say, how is Leslie Davis going to be on the ballot? Well, there's a time in kind of like June,
Okay.
2 weeks is set aside where you can get petitions signed. I've done it before.
Right.
And if you get 2,000 people to support you, then your name is on the ballot.
Right.
So when people go in, they'll see all the people that are running. This is Democrat, the Republican, and they'll be all fighting in their parties as to who's going to be their candidate. But I don't have to fight with anybody because Earth Protector is the party I started, and that's how I'm going to be listed on the ballot. Leslie Davis for governor, Earth Protector Party. And if we can get enough people cooking, then we can get the votes to get elected. We've got to go around the state, campaigning, but we need to put a team together to do that. So hopefully our issues of justice, people know that there's, where's my button there? People know that when the court system needs fixing because it's already fixed for the other side. So we need to get the court system fixed. We need to get money in people's hands. We need to deal with the fluoride issue.
Right.
And you mentioned kind of something, the guys up in Michigan. Who are the guys up in Michigan? The melanics?
My melanic brothers like to.
Well, that's
get
where you
Earth
came back with the star again. So, okay.
Well, my melanic brothers was
And melanic means color.
people of color, melanin. Right.
Melanin, people of color.
Right. But they was interested in the Earth Protector party and the Earth Protector shirts. It was
Okay, we're getting, because I'm getting money.
Right.
I'm getting some significant money.
Okay.
Actually, when my daughter learned about it, where's my button here? When my daughter learned that I was getting this chunk of money, she said, don't waste it on this political stuff. Because, you could spend a lot of money renting a car and going out to Mankato to talk to the people and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. But we'll make up some shirts. Let's see if I could show this shirt. This the kind of shirt we want to send to the brothers up in Michigan?
The brothers in Detroit, the brothers in Lansing, Michigan,
Uh-huh.
was interested in the Earth Protector party.
What do you think we need? About 6 shirts, 8 shirts?
Maybe 6 to 8 shirts.
I bet they're big guys too. I bet they're
Some of them. Right.
double extra large and stuff. This is an extra large. But when people see this shirt and I'm out and stuff, they ask about, what's that? Where can I get one of those? So people like to do that. They buy shirts. So I got that. Got different colors, on the white.
Okay.
white shirts. And these logos on the white shirts come in a whole bunch of different colors.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do some marketing. The Earth Protector, we've got shirts, we've got caps. We don't have any inventory yet.
He also has gym shoes too.
You saw those shoes, huh?
Right.
That's hard. That's something that's tough to keep in stock because there's so many different sizes,
Right.
all the way from kids all the way up to these big guys. Some of these big guys are size 13, 14. What size shoe you got? I bet they're about a 12,
10.
10?
10.
I'm an 11,
Oh, okay.
so you're a little guy. Well, I'm a field goal
But I
kicker.
have wide feet though.
I'm a soccer player.
Well, what about this guy Keith Ellison supposed to be running for this new position?
The chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
Okay.
They call it the DNC.
Okay.
Democratic National Committee. So he wants to be the chair of that. That's a big, powerful job. But they're not going to like him because he's a black Muslim. And he said some stuff, you know. He was with Farrakhan back in the day.
Well, the thing is, he denounced Farrakhan and said Farrakhan was a mistake in his past, and
Well, you got to pay for your mistakes, you know.
and I don't agree with Farrakhan being a mistake in his past. In fact, Farrakhan make men, and not Negroes. He make men, real men.
Uh-huh.
And so the Nation of Islam didn't need a man like that. No way. Anytime you denounce your brother because you're trying to get a bigger position or a higher position, Farrakhan don't need a man like that. No way. He's too weak to be in the Nation of Islam. Everybody is not cut out for the Nation of Islam. You have to be a special type of man. You can't be a punctified man to be in the Nation of Islam. I'm not a part of the Nation of Islam, but those are my brothers. And I would never denounce those brothers just because he's a brother that don't go along to get along, then you denounce him. So the Nation of Islam didn't need nothing like it. He denounced him now.
He's been called out as being
he denounced
yeah.
him. So the Nation of Islam don't need no little Debbie soldiers, no way.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are worried about the Nation of Islam because they say they're anti-Semitic and they're anti-white, and Farrakhan makes a lot of inflammatory statements.
Well, the thing about Farrakhan, he's trying to build a nation for us because we've been squozed out. They bringing Arabs in and other people in,
Yeah.
and they trying to squeeze us out because they don't need us to pick their cotton no more. Only thing they need the black men to do is fill up their jail cells, fill up their graveyards, and join their armed forces. So they really don't need us no more.
Right.
Or to spend money.
Actually, they don't need anybody with all this automation. I was reading an article recently, you know, we're talking concerned about unemployment and that factories are going to move and all that. But a lot of automation.
But black people spend a lot of money in this country or this company. In fact, it would be like when the Jews left Pharaoh and them, and they took their wealth with them.
Right.
So I'm saying is these black people spend a lot of money in this country.
Well, look how wealthy they made other black people, you know, all the black entertainers and baseball and football players and all of that.
Right.
But, you know, black entertainer, he's not going to get a concussion. But a lot of these black guys that are playing football, they get hurt, you know, and they got to get taken care of later on. You get a concussion.
The thing is, and it's not going to get any better. Like we talked about this before, you have two nations and one. You have a black nation and you have a white nation. And people like to try to make it look like it's, oh, no, we all is one. The nation been divided. The nation been divided. Like you look over in Detroit.
They're not going to get together. It's going to stay divided.
Well,
But that doesn't mean we can't work together, you know, we can't get along together.
well, I think the problem is you letting people, and I'm not against Islam, Judaism, or no religion, but you letting other people in this country or this company that don't believe in the same thing you believe in.
Right.
They want to bring a Sharia law in, and you can't bring it in America. You know, you got to go
can't.
by American
Right.
law.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to obey the laws of the land, you got to go. It's just that simple.
Right.
Nobody going to change their law to fit you.
Yeah.
So if you like Sharia law, stay over in Arabia, wherever you at. I don't want to be under the Arab.
I don't want that
customs.
Sharia law stuff.
I don't like it either. And a lot of black people I know that mainstream Islam, and I tell people mainstream Islam is not for black people. Taking on somebody else's identity is not going to change your condition. Groups like the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun, the Hebrew Israelites.
That's for
us.
The Rising Sun? What?
The Melanics. That's for black people. But this mainstream Islam, that's Arab culturalism. We don't need to be up off in the Arab culturalism.
Right.
Well, my people's already confused. Why are you up off in the Arab culturalism? You know, dressing like an Arab and all that kind of stuff. We need to leave them alone. And Arabs, like I said, in the Detroit, Michigan area, were very dirty towards black people. Very dirty. But you have, like I said, you have black people want to bring white people up on charges for slavery. But how about the Arabs? They look like they want to get an ABSA pass. And I don't want to get an ABSA pass. In fact, I don't like that culture.
You know,
it's not for black people.
When I saw a Farrakhan talk one time, had a whole bunch of ladies filling up 3 rows in the front.
Right.
Wearing looked like Arab gear or something, you know, a head thing and
but Farrakhan's, the women in Farrakhan's organization don't dress like those women in the Middle East. They dress a little different.
Yeah.
The ones in the Middle East, you know, you can't see nothing. Some of them can't see nothing but their eyeballs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They different. But the Nation of Islam, they conservative. They just cover the woman up and they conservative. Women look really really neat. It's not too much. But that Middle Eastern way of dressing, I do not like it. It's not for our people.
Yeah.
And I say this to black Americans, just try to be yourself. Taking on somebody else's culture is not going to change your condition.
But Farrakhan, he didn't like white people. I mean, he expresses himself, and that's really not a good way to campaign, you know, talking against white people, because then they kind of talk against you.
Well, Farrakhan said it's time for a separation. Which
well, where are you going to go?
Well, Farrakhan got their own schools. You got the Nation of Islam universities, and
so you're saying within our structure, real estate and all of that,
to get black people right, we need to have different schools.
So you'll have the people living over here in this house, and the neighbor next door, they'll go to school for the black people.
What I'm saying is we need our own schools because blacks are not learning in the white schools. They failing.
What I read today, actually, in the paper, is South Minneapolis schools are full and overflowing with students.
Right.
And the North schools are half empty.
Well, a lot of kids from over north are going to these schools over south because the sports teams are better. I listen to young people talk.
Because of the sports teams?
Yeah, you know, the football teams are better. They say a lot of stuff. Schools over south was much better than the schools over north. This is what the young kids are saying. I don't know. I didn't go to school here. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'd like to see if they got the schools are half empty in North Minneapolis, a good opportunity for them to get a good education if there's only half as many students.
Well, the black American children, which I call them black Jews, we need to separate, get our kids out of these schools. They need to have their own separate schools so they can learn. They can't concentrate.
Yeah, but all these years, they've been fighting to integrate the schools.
And integration hurt black people. It hurt us. It hurt us. It hurt us to the
Hurt
full.
the black people.
It hurt black people bad.
Well, when they wiped out that Rondo neighborhood in St. Paul.
St. Paul and Detroit, Michigan, Black Bottom, you built the Chrysler Freeway in the middle of a Black Bottom. We